All right, I'm really excited. Welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican. I found another classical Republican. Her name is Rachel Hammersley. She's from the UK. Don't know much about her yet. She's a scholar, so one of the academic Republicans that are on the rise these days since Pocock first wrote his Machiavellian Moment. So great stuff. This was written in 2013. The Harringtonian Republicanism, Democracy, and the French Revolution. That's the title right there. And it is written in La Révolution Française. And I don't speak French, so that's the best I can do. Okay, this article begins by talking about Harrington and the Neo-Harringtons and their impact on the English and American republicanism. It emphasizes their devotion to democracy. And Hammersley points out that the Neo-Harringtonians were less democratic than Harrington himself, and then goes on to illustrate how the French disciples of Harrington were much more democratic than Harrington himself, but still used his overarching Republican principles. These French disciples were an active faction during and after the French Revolution of 1789, and even submitted a draft constitution based on Harrington's principles, but went further with the democratic element. Let me read you page 8 of this article. It's just one paragraph. Perhaps the best illustration of this is to be found in the draft constitution that Rutledge produced after the fall of the monarchy, which was submitted to the convention in the autumn of 1792 by his close friend Théodore Lesueur. As Sten Boudoir Liljen noted back in 1932, that's like a Nordic name. Back in 1932, this constitution was modeled directly on Harrington's Oceana. However, Rutledge's draft constitution departed from Harrington's model on a number of key points. In the first place, Rutledge made more extensive use of lot as a means of choosing representatives than Harrington's original. For example, using it to determine the deputies at the level of the district. Secondly, where Harrington had designed his system to ensure that the wealthier citizens would completely control the Senate as well as enjoying a sizable minority within the popular assembly, Rutledge determined the opposite. He again divided the citizens on account of their wealth, but he then used this to weight power in favor of the less well-off, who would dominate the Grand National Legislative Council by 3-1 and would also completely control the Grand National Executive Council. Finally, while Rutledge again adopted Harrington's principle of separating the discussion of legislation from its acceptance or rejection, the way in which he incorporated this principle within his system was much more democratic than Harrington's original. Where Harrington had charged the Senate with debating and proposing legislation, and the popular assembly with accepting or rejecting the proposals made, in Rutledge's model, it was the Grand National Legislative Council that would debate and propose legislation. But those propositions would then be accepted or rejected by the citizen body as a whole, gathered in the various primary assemblies. So, Harrington is forgotten by many historians of political thought today. Unless one is an academic Republican, today like the author or Pettit or Pocock, may he rest in peace. I hope more politically minded people will take the time to read Harrington. If you have a hard time reading, you can head over to my playlist to find Harrington's writings. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Long live the Republic!